I have noticed something about many of us. We spend years trying to work on ourselves, build our lives, and change our lives for better. You know, we say those words with certainty. Oh, it runs in the family. I'm behind. It's not for people like me. But have you ever paused for a second to ask yourself, where is this story coming from? How did I get here? What is the root of it? When I first moved countries, I thought the biggest adjustment would be logistics, adjusting to a new city, adjusting to a new country, maybe building community, settling in, missing family and friends back at home. But that wasn't. The hardest part was the stories running in the background of my life, the narrative that I've believed for so long. And this narrative said to me, oh, maybe you have lost your momentum. Just maybe I left my opportunities behind. Oh, maybe this new country, I'll have to work 10 times harder before I can get access into rooms that matter. It's another man's land. Those were the narratives and the stories that kept running in the background of my life for the longest. My situation did not change overnight. It was the moment I realized that I have been choosing a story and walking in a path of that story that I did not choose myself. I did not consciously choose this story. I did not consciously choose this narrative, but I've been living it. And the day I questioned that story was the beginning of a huge shift in my life. Today, I want to talk about those stories that we carry in us, those perspectives, those narratives that we have soaked in so much that is shaping our current lives, and we never stop to question them. The stories we carry without realizing it is shaping every decision we make, every hesitation, and every dreams that you have quietly talked yourself out of. In my journey of shifting from one who has been stuck by narratives and stories that has been handed over to her, I discovered something I call the Steward method. What's the Steward method, you might ask? The Steward method is a simple framework that I came up with that has really helped me to stay consistent with this new change. This framework helps you to faithfully steward your story so you can live with greater purpose, intention, and impact. Most people drift through life by reacting to circumstances. It gives you a practical way to intentionally steward your story, your decisions, and your influence. I'll give you 3 categories of stories that you have inherited, that you have been living without questioning their standpoint in your life. Category 1, inherited stories. Category 2, comparison stories. And category 3, fear stories. In category 1, inherited stories. These ones, they are quiet killers. They have been with you from childhood. They have been lingering around you and shaping your life without you even knowing. Some of them spurs from family expectation of what success should look like, of what life should look like and what it shouldn't. It also comes in form of cultural timelines. Oh, marry at this age, settle down at this age. Oh, make money at this time. Oh, you cannot do this in this circumference. It has to be this way culturally because this is the cultural belief that surrounds it. And also gender expectation that just assumes or states that certain rooms are not for you. These narratives are stories that they seem normal. It's the ideal, it's what culture says, it's what the family routine says, it's what the family trajectory has always been, so we have to stick to it. If we go outside it, then something is wrong. If we choose to actually rewrite our story outside of family expectations, age dynamics, cultural structures, and beliefs, then what happens? I believe that the moment that I began to question the stories that I've been able to soak in all these years, from childhood into adulthood, my life started to take a different turn. I began to know how to draw boundaries, to set structures for my life. My visions and my dreams became much more clearer. Now here's the thing, you didn't choose the stories. But if you never examine them, if you never question them, if you never sat down to reflect and ask yourself, how does this fit into my highest goal? How does this fit into the future of myself that I picture? Then these stories might be choosing your life for you. Category 2, comparison stories. This generation, it's not our fault, but it's just the world that we live in now. We are exposed to tons and tons of information. Now, social media has become a measuring stick that you never signed up to use. Peer milestones that comes in the illusion of personal deadlines. Career pressure that makes your season and your phase of life feel like a mere sentence. You are falling into the trap of comparing your interior world to someone else's edited exterior. That comparison trap was never fair, and it is never true. You might think you are way behind right now just because you saw someone announce a milestone in their life. You see, that comparison is not true. It's the biggest lie from the pit of hell. To the final category, which is the fear stories. This feels more personal because they carry your name in them. You know, the fear of failure that whispers, what if you try and you fail? The fear of visibility that asks you, how dare you? Who are you to be seen? That silent voice that keeps repeating words in your head. And for many others, it's the fear of disappointing God, the fear of wasting your life, the fear of never attaining all that God has called you to. But let me let you know this today. Fear does not always feel like fear. Sometimes it feels like wisdom, and sometimes it feels like humility. But if it keeps you from what God has placed in your hands, it might just be fear wearing a very beautiful disguise in your life. Most of the stories limiting you are, in fact, they are limitations. Instead of saying, I am behind, why not say, I am in a different season? Instead of saying, I failed, you can simply say, I learned. Instead of you saying, I don't know enough, you can say, there is room for me to learn. There is room for me to be better. And instead of you saying, this season is wasted, you can simply say, this season is shaping me. This season is refining me. Some may say, oh, that's faking it till you make it. But that is simply a beautiful reframe. A reframe that isn't toxic. It is not you pretending that things are not hard. It is you choosing the narrative, choosing the interpretation that opens a door instead of locking one. Let me bring you back to the Steward method. In the Steward method, the S stands for see, the T stands for think, the E stands for embrace, the W stands for walk, the A stands for align, the R stands for reflect, the D stands for develop. When we see our story clearly and think about it differently, we feel better. And it does not stop there. We do not just feel better. We become more capable of choosing the narrative that we want our lives to be shaped by. Different actions, different future. From the stories, the narratives that was handed over to us. And that is where a huge transformation in the life of a person begins. So you see your story, you think about your story differently, you embrace your story and begin to rewrite it. You walk faithfully within your story. You align your story with God's purpose. You begin to reflect Christ and all that He wants to do with you in your journey, in your story. And guess what happens after this? You begin to develop others. You begin to be a channel of impact to other people around you because you have been able to get it right and it's time to pass it on to other people. Your purpose is clearer. The things that you need to do are more defined. You know the path you want to go and you're not confused anymore. Now, before we move to the next video, I want you to sit with this question. What is that story you have been believing about yourself that God never wrote? When you discover it, write it down and begin to question it and start replacing it with something truer, something much more elevated, with something that you believe will draw you closer to the life that you have envisioned. All of this is important because your greatest impact all begins the moment you begin to steward your story properly. And you can never steward a story you never examined. Now, wherever this video finds you, I hope it helps you. It encourages you to steward your story more faithfully this week. My name is Akorede. You can definitely call me Akorede. It was nice sharing my knowledge and my lived experience with you. I hope you found it valuable. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you found it valuable, if you found it useful. And don't stop there. Share with someone that you feel like needs to hear this message, needs to see it, or will help them to rechannel their mind and see their journey, their story in a more different light. God bless you. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.